They say love starts from within. But what if I told you that the way you love yourself is shaping every relationship in your life? The people you attract, the way they treat you, and even the love you cravets, all a reflection of how you see yourself. Most people search endlessly for the perfect partner, convinced that love is something to be found, something that happens by chance. But here's the truth: love isn't found, it's created, and it starts with you. When you deeply love and respect yourself, you send out a signal and unspoken energy that draws the right people towards you. But if self-doubt, insecurity, or past wounds linger, they act like invisible barriers, pushing away the very connection you desire. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's a force zone that's entirely in your control. Today, we're uncovering the hidden power of self-love, the force that magnetizes the relationships you truly deserve. By the end of this, you'll see why the love you're looking for isn't miss it, it's waiting for you to claim it. The question is, are you ready to step into the version of yourself that attracts the love you've always wanted? Let's begin. Most people spend their lives searching for love in someone else, but few stop to ask if they've truly given it to themselves. Self-love isn't about arrogance or selfishness. It's about recognizing your worth without needing permission. It's the quiet confidence that says, I am enough, even when no one is watching. It's the way you speak to yourself in moments of doubt, the standards you set, and the boundaries you refuse to break. Every relationship reflects the one you have with yourself. When love feels distant or unavailable, it's often because something within is blocking it. Some chase affection to fill a void, believing that another person's validation will erase their insecurities. Others settle for less than they deserve, afraid that demanding more will leave them alone. But love, the kind that lasts, isn't built on fear. It's built on self-respect, on the unshakable belief that you are already worthy. People who truly love themselves move differently. They don't beg for attention or compromise their values for approval. They radiate a quiet magnetism, a presence that draws in relationships that mirror their inner peace. This isn't luck, it's alignment. When the way you see yourself shifts, the world shifts with you. The friendships, the romance, the opportunities, they all begin to match the energy you hold within. But self-love isn't just a mindset, it's a daily practice. It's the decision to stop seeking love from those who only give it in pieces. It's walking away from what drains you, even when it's familiar. It's choosing to forgive past mistakes, to release the guilt that keeps you stuck, and to replace harsh self-criticism with kindness. No one is born with unshakable confidence. It's built piece by piece through the small choices made every day. Saying no without guilt, prioritizing mental and emotional well-being, believing that love isn't something to be earned, but something that exists naturally when you embrace who you are. This is what creates the foundation for healthy, fulfilling relationships. Love isn't meant to be chased or forced. It flows effortlessly to those who know they deserve it. And it all begins with how you see yourself. Energy speaks louder than words. Long before a conversation begins, before a single message is exchanged, something deeper is at play. The way a person carries themselves, the way they move through the world, silently reveals everything about how they see themselves. Confidence isn't just about standing tall or speaking boldly. It's a reflection of self-worth, an unspoken frequency that either draws people in or pushes them away. Attraction isn't just about physical appearance or charm. It runs deeper, operating on a level that most don't even realize. Those who radiate self-love don't just attract attention, they attract respect. They move with a sense of certainty, never chasing, never settling, because they know they are complete on their own. This energy is impossible to fake. It's not about acting confident, it's about embodying it. Relationships mirror what's happening within. The insecure attract the unavailable, the desperate attract the indifferent, and those who fear abandonment find themselves in cycles of inconsistency. But when self-worth is solid, the entire dynamic changes. Healthy, emotionally available partners gravitate toward those who know their own value. Love stops feeling like a battlefield and starts to feel like a natural extension of self-respect. Chasing love only leads to exhaustion. The more someone clings, the more they repel. It's the law of energetiness creates resistance, while security creates flow. Those who truly love themselves don't spend time proving their worth. They don't try to convince anyone to stay. They know that the right people recognize their value effortlessly. There's a shift that happens when self-love is genuine. Boundaries become non-negotiable, standards rise, and the tolerance for disrespect disappears. It's not about demanding perfection from others. It's about no longer accepting less than what aligns with inner peace. Love, in its healthiest form, is never about filling a void. It's about two complete individuals coming together, not out of need, but out of choice. Attraction is more than words, more than looks, more than effort. It's a reflection of self-perception. When love is given freely within, it naturally attracts those who appreciate and reciprocate it. No force, no chasing, just alignment. Love without boundaries isn't love at sacrifice. It's saying yes when every part of you wants to say no. It's giving endlessly while receiving little in return. It's accepting behavior that drains energy, hoping that one day things will change. But real love doesn't ask for self-betrayal. Real love thrives where respect is present, and respect begins with boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are not cold, distant, or selfish. They are the clearest expression of self-worth, a statement that says, this is what I allow in my life and this is what I do not. Without them, relationships become a space where resentment builds, where exhaustion replaces joy, where connection feels more like an obligation than a choice. People treat others based on what is tolerated. If disrespect is overlooked, it continues. If energy is poured into those who only take, depletion follows. But when boundaries are firm, something shifts. Those who truly care will adjust, meeting the standard that has been set. Those who resist were never capable of offering real love in the first place. Setting limits isn't about controlling others, it's about protecting personal peace. It means walking away from conversations that feel draining, stepping back from relationships that bring more pain than joy, and refusing to explain self-worth to those who refuse to see it. It means no longer making excuses for behavior that goes against what feels right. Clarity is power. When boundaries are clear, so is energy. Relationships become lighter, healthier, and more fulfilling. Love deepens because it exists within a space of mutual respect rather than silent frustration. Saying no doesn't push the right people away, it draws them closer. Those who value a person's well-being will never be offended by the standards they set. Growth happens when self-respect leads the way. It's in the decision to protect energy, to prioritize emotional health, and to stop accepting what no longer aligns with peace. Love that demands self-abandonment isn't love, it's a lesson. A lesson in knowing when to stay, when to walk away, and when to choose self-worth over temporary approval. Confidence isn't something handed out, it's built. It grows in the small moments, in the choices made daily, in the way one speaks to themselves when no one else is listening. Self-esteem isn't about being perfect, achieving every goal, or having everything figured out. It's about believing in personal worth, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. The way people see themselves affects every part of life. Relationships, careers, decisions, all of it is shaped by self-perception. Those who doubt their value settle for less. They tolerate mistreatment, ignore red flags, and shrink themselves to fit into spaces never meant for them. But when self-esteem is strong, everything changes. Standards rise, boundaries become non-negotiable, and the need for outside validation fades. Negative self-talk is one of the biggest barriers to confidence. The inner voice can be the greatest enemy or the strongest ally. When it constantly repeats words of doubt, failure, and comparison, confidence crumbles. But when it shifts towards self-compassion, growth becomes possible. Mistakes no longer define worth. Setbacks become lessons instead of proof of inadequacy. Building self-esteem requires action. It's not just about thinking positively, it's about proving to oneself through daily choices that worth is not up for debate. It's choosing relationships that uplift rather than drain. It's speaking up instead of staying silent. It's showing up for personal goals, even when motivation is low. Each of these actions reinforces the truth that value isn't determined by others, it's determined from within. Comparison is another thief of confidence. Scrolling through endless highlights of other people's lives creates the illusion that everyone else is happier, more successful, more loved. But self-esteem doesn't grow in the shadows of comparison. It grows when focus shifts inward, when energy is directed toward personal growth instead of measuring up to someone else's journey. Confidence doesn't mean never feeling insecure. It means not letting insecurity dictate choices. It means standing tall even in moments of doubt, speaking with conviction even when fear is present, and refusing to let setbacks erase the progress that has been made. The way others treat someone is often a reflection of how they treat themselves. When self-worth is unshakable, the world responds accordingly. Some patterns repeat not because they're meant to, but because they haven't been broken. The same type of relationship, the same disappointment, the same cycle of giving too much and receiving too little, it's not a coincidence. It's a pattern rooted in belief, shaped by past experiences, and reinforced by choices made over and over again. But patterns aren't permanent. They shift the moment awareness turns into action. Attraction often follows familiarity. If chaos was normal in the past, peace might feel uncomfortable. If love was conditional, healthy affection might seem uninteresting. Subconsciously, people recreate what they once knew, even when it hurts. This is why self-awareness is so important. Without it, cycles continue, and the same lessons repeat in different forms. Breaking negative patterns begins with recognizing them. Looking back isn't about dwelling on the past, it's about understanding what led to certain choices. Why was that relationship chosen? Why was that red flag ignored? Why did settling feel easier than walking away? The answers to these questions hold the key to change. Once awareness is there, the next step is making different choices even when they feel unnatural at first. If silence was the response to mistreatment before, speaking up becomes the new standard. If giving without limits led to exhaustion, setting boundaries becomes the priority. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in the moments of discomfort, in the choices that challenge old habits. Healing isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming intentional. It's about deciding that past experiences don't define the future. It's about refusing to repeat what no longer serves. Some relationships exist solely to teach what should never be accepted again. The lesson is only wasted if it's ignored. Walking away from patterns means stepping into the unknown. It means choosing differently, even when the familiar calls back. It means believing that love isn't meant to hurt, to drain, or to demand self-sacrifice. The moment different choices are made, the cycle breaks. Growth begins. The right kind of love starts finding its way in. The strongest relationships are built on growth, not dependency. Two people choosing each other, not because they need to, but because they inspire one another to become better versions of themselves. Love isn't meant to be a place of stagnation. It should challenge, elevate, and expand the minds and hearts of those involved. A relationship rooted in growth doesn't mean constant perfection. It means creating a space where both individuals feel safe to evolve, encouraging dreams instead of dismissing them, supporting ambitions instead of feeling threatened by them, holding each other accountable, not in a way that criticizes, but in a way that pushes both forward. True love isn't about staying the same, it's about evolving together. Mutual growth requires mutual effort. If one person is constantly striving for better while the other remains complacent, imbalance follows. One carries the weight while the other resists movement. In relationships like this, frustration builds and resentment grows. But when both are committed to bettering themselves not just for each other, but for their own fulfillment, something powerful happens. Love deepens, respect strengthens, and the connection becomes unbreakable. Encouragement plays a major role. The right partner won't see growth as a threat. They'll see it as an opportunity. They won't hold someone back out of insecurity. They'll celebrate achievements, no matter how big or small. There's no competition in real love, only the shared excitement of seeing one another succeed. Challenges will come. Growth isn't always comfortable. It requires letting go of habits, facing uncomfortable truths, and stepping into the unknown. But in the right relationship, these challenges don't break the bond, they strengthen it. When both people are committed to personal and collective evolution, they create something rare, a partnership that not only lasts, but thrives. No one should ever feel they have to shrink to make a relationship work. Love should never require choosing between personal growth and staying in comfort. The right connection will always push toward expansion, never limitation. Two people committed to growth don't just survive together. They build something that lasts, something that adds value to their lives in ways neither could have imagined alone. Mistakes don't define worth. Failures don't erase value. Flaws don't make anyone unworthy of love. Yet so many people speak to themselves with a level of harshness they would never direct towards someone they care about. The voice inside is often the most brutal critic, replaying past regrets, magnifying imperfections, and setting impossible standards. But real growth doesn't come from self-punishment. It comes from self-compassion. Speaking kindly to oneself isn't about making excuses. It's about allowing room to learn, to grow, and to move forward without carrying unnecessary shame. Everyone has made choices they wish they could change. Everyone has fallen short, disappointed themselves, or let fear guide their decisions. Dwelling on those moments doesn't undo them. But choosing to respond with patience and understanding makes the path forward clearer. People often seek love from others to fill the gap they refuse to fill within themselves. They expect a partner to be gentle with their flaws while being ruthless with their own. But love starts with the way one treats themselves, speaking with kindness, allowing rest without guilt, accepting imperfections instead of battling them. These aren't luxuries, they are necessities. Healing requires space to breathe. Growth happens when the weight of self-judgment is lifted. No one is meant to get everything right on the first try. Strength isn't about never failing. It's about how setbacks are handled. Choosing to offer grace to oneself, to recognize that struggles don't make someone less worthy, is one of the most powerful shifts a person can make. Relationships benefit from self-compassion. When someone is gentle with themselves, they naturally become more patient with others. They stop expecting perfection, stop reacting from a place of insecurity, stop needing constant reassurance. Love becomes lighter, freer, more genuine. It becomes about sharing joy, not proving worth. Growth isn't about becoming someone else, it's about becoming more of who one truly is, without fear, without guilt, without shame. Choosing to embrace every part of oneself, even the messy, imperfect parts, is what allows real love, both from within and from others, to take root and flourish. Love isn't about luck. It isn't something that just happens. Every relationship, every connection, every experience is drawn in by the energy being put out. Attracting an ideal relationship isn't about searching harder or chasing people who don't see the value. It's about alignment, becoming the kind of person who naturally calls in the love that's been waiting all along. So many people focus on what they want in a partner, but forget to ask if they are showing up as that kind of person themselves. They want kindness, but judge themselves harshly. They want loyalty, but settle for inconsistency. They want deep, meaningful love, but hold onto connections that drain them. Love doesn't come from settling or from accepting less out of fear. It arrives when self-worth is strong enough to make space for something real. Clarity is everything. Without knowing what a fulfilling relationship looks like, it's easy to fall into patterns of attraction based on old wounds rather than true compatibility. Choosing what to allow, what to walk away from, and what to nurture creates a clear path for the right person to step in. Energy follows focus. When love is approached with intention, patterns shift and the right connections begin to appear. It's not just about relationships with others. The most important relationship is with oneself. When self-respect is high, love stops being about proving worth. It stops being about convincing someone to stay. It stops being about fear of being alone. Instead, love becomes a choice zone made from a place of confidence, peace, and certainty. Attraction isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and energetic. People who radiate self-love don't need to chase, they attract. They carry themselves differently. They speak with confidence. They know what they deserve and won't settle for less. That energy is powerful. It pulls in those who are aligned with it and repels those who aren't ready for it. Manifesting an ideal relationship isn't about hoping for someone to show up and fix everything. It's about becoming the kind of person who already embodies the love they seek. Growth invites growth. Self-love attracts real love. The relationships that last aren't built on desperation or need, but on two people who are whole on their own, choosing each other from a place of strength. Love isn't something to be chased, forced, or earned. It's a reflection of the way one values themselves. The energy put out into the world shapes every connection, every relationship, every experience. When self-love is strong, boundaries become clear, confidence rises, and the right people begin to show up effortlessly. Change starts from within. It's in the way someone speaks to themselves, the way they choose to walk away from what no longer serves them, the way they believe they are worthy of something real. Love isn't about finding someone to complete what's missing. about two whole individuals coming together to create something even greater. Growth isn't always easy. It requires breaking patterns, unlearning old beliefs, and stepping into the version of oneself that attracts the love that has always been deserved. But once that shift happens, everything begins to align. No more chasing, no more settling, just real, fulfilling relationships built on mutual respect, self-worth, and genuine connection. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. There's so much more to explore, and together we can continue this journey towards self-love and meaningful relationships.